And welcome back. This is our orthographic projection drawing that we started in tutorial 1B. And now on 1C, we're going to add some dimensions to it. Now, if you recall, dimensions have quite a few rules, and it says on our class website under 1C, where you have clicked to watch this video, that I've got some notes here on dimensioning standards and rules, and you should familiarize yourself with these. So if you click on that, it should open up a new tab, and I've borrowed these from another teacher, Mr. Wellwood, because they were so good. And you'll see here that very concise, and they walk you through the kind of do's and don'ts of dimensioning. So remember, we talked about extension lines and dimension lines when we were doing manual drafting. Well, there's a gap between the extension line and the object that's maintained at a certain distance. And then there's also dimension lines that are offset from the object a certain distance. And in this case, we also have the extension lines going beyond the dimension lines, and we have a text height to worry about. So all the rules that you should be sort of paying attention to, like distance of offset and things like that, are in this document. You should, as it says, I think up top here, well, dimensioning is one of the most important parts of drafting. Learn this. And that way all of our drawings can be standardized, and people who read them expect certain things and they'll be there. So back to dimensioning. Okay, so here's the drawing we had working, and first thing we had on our original drawing was the dimensions were in fractions. And if I head up here to sheet and document settings, actually right up here, you can expand an arrow and you can choose, well, currently our dimension format is in decimal. So I'm going to click on the end there, and I'm going to get a call out box here with a whole bunch of choices, and the one I'm looking for is dimension format is decimal. I'm going to change it to fractional. Then it says the precision. It's going to round your dimensions to the precision rule here that says 1/4 inch. That's not good enough for us. We're going to, like when we did manual, we're going to pick 1/16 inch as our precision. And then we can push OK. There's other adjustments you can make in here, line width and all sorts of other things that you can look at, and your font type and whatnot, but that's all we're going to do for now. Push OK. So time to dimension something, and I guess I'll throw on the overall dimensions. Now our rule was we're going to put as many dimensions as possible on one view. Then if we can't put it on that view, we'll add dimensions to a second view, and the last view we're going to try and leave absolutely without dimensions. That's a nice goal. We'll dimension it. The goal is always to be as clear as possible, so the person looking at the drawing can easily understand where things go. So I'll do a few dimensions. I'm not going to do them all. You can just build on what I show you. So first of all, overall dimension. I'm going to say, let's for now, because the great thing is we can delete in CAD. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make the overall width or length of this box or this block that we're doing in here. So I'm going to go up to dimension. I'm going to see there's a bunch of choices if I hit the drop down. If you hover long enough and read what it says in the little balloon, it'll tell you what it's going to do. This is good for dimensioning horizontal or vertical distances between 2 points. Sounds like what I want to do, so I'll pick that. I'll hover over a corner, and you'll see if I zoom in that it's actually detecting that corner, and I'll pick it. I'll hover over this corner, and then I'll pull out. It snaps at certain points to help me with the spacing. So I'm going to pick the first snap, and I'm going to click. There's my first dimension. Now let's go and do this dimension here, vertical. There's my next dimension. So I got 5 1/16 and 4 1/4. So that's how you do horizontal and vertical dimensioning. Here's another one that we want to learn. Again, I'm not going to do them all. I'm just going to show you the ones that we want to learn. Is I want to dimension this circle at some point, this bore and counter bore that we've got here. So I'm going to start by placing a center for this, which is right here. If I hover up at the top, center mark, I'm going to click the edge of the circle, and it puts a center mark on there. All circles should have a center mark because that's where you start drawing your circle from, or drilling from, is the absolute center. And now we're going to put in our reference from an edge to the center of circle. So dimensioning, again, this looks like a linear dimension, horizontal, vertical. I'm going to pick the edge of my center mark right there, the end tip. I'm going to pick this line over here, and I'm going to then zoom out and raise this above the object that far. Now I'm going to say, so it's 2 1/16 inch from that edge, that center of circle. And now we're going to say, how far is this from this? And pull that out. So that's dimension. So I know where the center of those boards and counter bores are. So now what I'm going to do is pick dimension. And this time, if it's something that I would drill, as it says in our notes, we're going to use diameter. If it's something that's just an arc, we'll use radius. So I chose diameter. I'll pick that. And here's another rule. You try not to leave your dimensions on top of your object. It just clouds your object. So I'm pulling out, and I'm going to put it out here. And then this one here, I'm going to pull out and put here. You decide where for clarity, but the whole goal is to be nice and clear so the person reading the drawing can figure it out. So 3/8 diameter is the center hole, and the outer counter bore is 1 1/4 right there. Okay, so I did mention that we wouldn't use diameter for an arc, so what do we use? Dimension. And radius is what we're looking for. So you click on that, and the radius could be out here. I could put it out there, but it's crossing a bunch of other dimension lines, and that might be starting to look a little confusing or sloppy. So I think this is a case where we're going to break with that rule, and we're just going to put it on the inside there like that. So the radius, as you know, you drew it with a compass, is 1 inch right there. So boy, isn't it nice to be able to have things so neat and tidy and erasable if I want to. So for instance, if I wanted to redo this one, I could click on it, I could hit delete on my keyboard and do it again. Or I can hit Control Z and bring it back. So lovely that the computer doesn't require us to, erase with the vinyl eraser and make a bunch of smudges and whatnot. What about these parts here? Do I need to dimension to those? Well, the rule is you don't dimension to hidden lines. Hidden lines are just that, they're hidden. We try to find other ways to indicate the dimensions. So first of all, I know how large to drill these. Do I know how deep to drill them? I think I do. Just by looking at the hidden line, it goes all the way through, and this counterbore goes as far as this first ledge. So I don't think I have to talk about the depth. All I have to do is talk about how large the hole is. So I don't need to add any more information, and that's another rule of dimensioning. We don't add information that's unnecessary. You don't duplicate information. So I've added the width of the block here at 4 1/4. I wouldn't add it anywhere else. Like for instance, it might be tempting to show that this is 5 1/16 here and show that it's a 5 1/16 down here, but we don't do that. So what's next? I can't show any of the elevations on this because I'm looking bird's eye view. So I do have to show the elevations on this drawing. So I would do my horizontal vertical, and I would go to my linear dimension, and I would show an overall dimension in height. And if I step it off 1, I know I have to show these other dimensions. So I'm going to get a little crowded in here. I would really actually, I'm going to hit Control Z and do this differently. I'm going to do the linear dimension, and I'm going to go from here to here and show that. Then I'm going to go from here to here and show that, and then I'm going to go from there to there and show that. And then it's very easy to see the progression up the heights from one view. Is there any other information that's missing from the drawing that would be required to manufacture this product? And the answer is yes, and I'm going to let you take care of it on your own drawing, but that's a start. That shows you how to dimension things. And by the way, I didn't mention in the previous videos, but our title block down here, it fills in automatically based on the folder that I have my projects in and the file name I've given it. You can edit that if you want by double clicking on it, and you can get into your title block like I just did, and then double click on that, and you can change this if you want and hit enter, and it will be kept. It just automatically puts some things in for you, like your name based on your account with AutoCAD, and the date and the scale 1:1. So all this stuff has been added for you, but you can edit it if you want. So that's it for now, and happy dimensioning.